Right, if you look at this question, this looks very familiar to what we did in the radical section, which is chapter 7 in the book. In other words, I look at that and I go, well, I can see a square root, so surely I must be squaring both sides. Remember, we've been square rooting both sides because they were squared questions in the previous videos. But that's a square root, so if I square both sides, I'll end up with x squared on the left and just 10x plus 24 on the right. Remember, if I've got a square root and I square it, it's just the thing inside. Just like if I've got a square and I square root it. Okay, just do the opposite. Now, the reason why this is different to what we did in the radical section was, I think we were just squaring numbers, not x's. This has got an x and now it's x squared on the left hand side. I think that's the only difference really. So I've squared both sides because it's got a square root in it. Now this just means, oh, right. Take away a 10x from both sides. Take away a 24 from both sides. Put it equal to 0. Okay? So in other words, this and this I put onto the left hand side. Okay? I've made it look like a quadratic equation. So x squared minus 10x minus 24. Now for this one, although we've been using completing the square and quadratic equation formula, this can be factored. Two numbers that make negative 24 when you multiply, negative 10 when you add. Well, surely that is x minus 12 and x plus 2. Okay? That equals 0. So, okay, that's it. That just factors nicely. So the two answers are going to be positive 12 and negative 2. Okay, remember what makes these parentheses 0? A positive 12 and a negative 2. Now then, if I remember correctly, when you had a lot of square roots, there's certain things you can't square root. There's plenty of things you can square, but only certain things you can square root. So, if I put 12 in there, what's 10 times 12? 10 times 12 is 120. So I'm just checking this now. Plus the 24. Okay, well that's 144. And of course, when I square root it, alright, I'll get, yes, the 12 on the other side. Okay, if x is 12, it's going to work. 12 equals 12. So you try it out. Put 12 into that, this equation right there, and it will work. Okay? So, how about the negative 2? Will that work? If I remember rightly, a lot of the times, but we'll see. Right, negative 2. There you go. That's x equals, right, 10 times negative 2 is negative 20. Okay, so that's that bit. 10 times negative 2 plus 24. Okay, well that will give you 4. And the square root of 4, the principal square root, is 2, not negative 2. Okay, so actually the negative 2 doesn't work. And I think if you remember that from the radicals, a lot of times the negative answers didn't work. So the answer for that is just 12. Okay, so that's the answer to question 1. X equals 12.